I think so. Hello everyone and hi Kui Min. Welcome to our 384 meeting. And today, now we'll officially start our meeting. So before we start the meeting, I'd like to introduce a few housekeeping rules that everyone is advised to apply. Okay, next slide. So basically by attending this meeting, right, all of us agree the privacy policy of Toastmasters International and as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of our personal information, such as name, image, and any shared message, may be shared with others, meeting participants, and will be recorded, and say recordings may be used in the future as a club sees fit. So your remote attendance hereby discharge Toastmasters International and University Malaya Toastmaster Club from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out or in connections with the use of distribution of said video, recordings, and or photo images, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. Okay, next slide. So basically, right, we actually advise you to share because the slide will be shared through the meeting. So you are advised to adjust the speaker view and the slides according to your best speed. So you kindly adjust yourself, the Zoom view yourself to focus on either slide or speaker both according to your best speed. And you can also want to have a gallery view, like me, for example, where I'm using a gallery view now. But for later, when we have presentation and someone might using slides to present, it's advisable for you to adjust it, the speaker and the slides. All right, next, Sherru. And a reminder is that if you are using tablets or iPad, use the speakers of the gallery view on the top right corner to assess your view and to facilitate your learning process. Right. Next. Now come to our housekeeping rules. We would like to request that please have your video switched on throughout the meeting as one of the means of interaction with other participants, especially when someone is speaking or someone is delivering speeches. And we would like to request you to keep your mic on mute when you are not speaking. And of course, this meeting will be recorded for archive purpose. So let's say, for example, some of you want to turn off your camera. It's doable also. Let's say you want to travel around or you are not convenient. It's doable as well. Just that we are advised and if we request you guys to turn on your camera throughout the meeting. Thank you. And I'll pass back to the presiding officer. Let's welcome Zhi Jun.
Thank you, Toastmaster Elven. Good evening, everyone. I'm Zhi Jun, the President of University Malaya Toastmaster Club, and welcome to our 384 meeting. Now is in the midst of August. Olympics have over, and the semester break is also reached to the half. Hope that everyone are doing well, and hope you all enjoy your holiday, or for those in work, then also hope you all enjoy your work life too. For this meeting, I would like to acknowledge the external role player who help us in the meeting. Next slide. Thanks for Toastmaster Kui Min, Innovative Planning Level 3 from PwC Toastmaster Club, help us at the General Evaluator. Toastmaster Kui Min, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much to the presiding officer, Zhi Jun. So I'm Kui Min. I might sound a bit different because I'm having some sore throat, but yeah, I guess introductions, I was a member how many years ago? 3 years ago? 4 years ago? Quite some time ago. So it's good to be back. Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to the meeting. Back to you.
Thank you. For information, Kui Min is our past member of UN Toastmaster Club. He also the alumni of UM and currently working at PwC. Next, Toastmaster Elva. Welcome to our meeting. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. First of all, I wanted to thank you, Zhi Jun, for letting the president group know that there is an online meeting today. So that's why I make my time to dial in. Yeah, so I have been with TD, so I'm actually the president for TDDI Toastmaster Club, and I have been with Toastmaster for, I think this is my 4th or 5th year. I also can't recall. But I have been attempting to try recycling a few exco roles already lah. Yeah, but I hope we'll be able to sort of like get to learn more from every one of you for today's meeting. Yeah. Thank you.
And hope you are enjoying this tour meeting. And with that, let's call this meeting a start. And I would like to pass the control to our Toastmaster of the evening. She is our first time TME, Toastmaster Sherru, Presentation Mastery Level 1. Toastmaster Sherru, the floor is yours.
Sherru, you're muted.
Good day, everyone.
Sherru, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, brother.
Got echo. You might want to mute or disconnect audio from your iPad.
So today, the theme of our meeting is research and rediscover. In this fast-paced world, we tend to get burned out easily due to the overwhelming list of assignment, tasks, and commitment. Hence, we definitely need to get recharged. However, is research can only be done through a vacation or a good night's sleep? Perhaps not so. We can also choose to attend Toastmaster Club meeting to listen to the real-life stories instead of watching a drama or a movie in a cinema. Nonetheless, we don't just feel overwhelmed or exhausted. Sometimes we feel lost or adrift, unsure of our own capabilities or even our own identity. In such moment of doubt, do we need a counseling or a motivational speech? Perhaps not. What we need is our confidence towards ourselves. And what we need is a platform to support our discoveries of our own strength. Now, take a guess. Which year is this where people are relying on bulky tools for communication?
19th century.
2020.
Sorry, not 2020. Just now I heard Justin saying something.
19th century.
Yeah, it's
1930. 1930.
200 years ago. But soon it get replaced by landline phone. until Nokia appeared and dominated the world. Nevertheless, it becomes outdated as time passes. As soon as other phones such as iPhone, Vivo, Oppo, and more appear, time brings things into its existence, but it also brings them away as they become outdated. How about Toastmaster Club? How long has it lasted? I guess this is an easy question.
100 year.
1924.
200 years. So we are 100 years. So Toastmaster Club are celebrating for 100-year anniversary. But what makes Toastmaster Club special, since it can last for such a long time? Because it's a club. It's not just a language club, but it's a platform for us to connect with the people from all over the world, from people from various backgrounds, and we learn from each other. We don't just learn how to give a speech. Communication is two-way. We also learn to listen to another party. We don't just learn to be open-minded, to give a feedback. Instead, we also learn to give feedback to another person so that it can be helpful and it won't cause harm to another person. By the time we realize we have become a leader with all the characters built. Toastmaster Club is a self-paced learning platform. Wherever you are, whenever you can access to the base-camp online resources. For non-Toastmaster people, you can always read the free magazine that is available online. Hence, Vincent Hall, our founder, decided to bring Toastmaster Club to University Malaya. So here we are today. This is the flow. Firstly, we will have table topic where members and guests present an impromptu speech. This is the time where you build up your spontaneous speaking skills. Next, we will have prepared speeches. Members will present their prepared speeches with specific objective. The last part is evaluation, where evaluators give feedback on the speakers' speeches. Stay tuned till the end, as the award ceremony will be at the end. A meeting can't run well without these role players. So let's invite Grammarian Zhi Jun to explain her role.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Zhi Jun, the grammar of the day. The grammarian, I will be the acting English teacher for today to take note of the good language, good sentence, good phrases, or good words from every speakers, and also jot down that any grammatical errors or any misusage of the words, and also the word of the day. Next slide. The word of the day today is revitalize. Revitalize, it means excellent, outstanding, or exceptionally high quality. The sentence is the hotel offers. The sentence is, the example is a package of spending cards to revitalize the economy. A package of spending cards to revitalize the economy, make the economy with a new life and vitality. I will provide the Grammarian report after the meeting. And thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of Evening.
Sherru, you muted. I think we lost Sherru for somehow.
Never mind. I do my part. All right. So I am the R counter for today. So what does a R counter do? Basically, a R counter will count your R, repeated words like I like, or so, or whatever. And then at the end of the day, I will send a report. I will present a report to you guys at the request of the GE.
Thank you, Ikhtifar, for your explanation. Now let's invite Iman, our timer, to explain her role.
Okay, hi and good evening, everyone. I will be your timer for tonight. I will be timing the table topic speakers, prepared speeches, evaluation sessions, as well as alerting each speaker of the time they have left. So for table topics, the time allocated is 2 to 3 minutes. For prepared speeches and table topics evaluations, 5 to 7 minutes. And for individual evaluations, 2 to 3 minutes. So I will be showing green once you've reached the minimum required time, yellow at the halfway mark, and red once your time is up. And that's it for my role. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Iman, for explaining your role. Now let's move to the part where General Evaluator Kui Min will explain his role.
Thank you to the Toastmaster of Evening. Now, the role of the General Evaluator is to evaluate the meeting as a whole. Of course, when we evaluate the meeting as a whole, then of course we have the very beginning. And for me, that is the moment I receive the agenda. So first of all, a good job on the agenda. I feel like the agenda is very complete and very neatly presented. And then, of course, the following segments like the introduction, the presiding officer's opening, until the very end, until the point that I present my report at the end of the evaluation session. So that is the role of the general evaluator, is to provide, hopefully, if I detect anything, I will provide any constructive feedback for improvements and perhaps suggestion for the team to take up on for the next meetings to come. That's all from me. Back to you, to the Toastmaster of Evening, Sherru.
Okay. I think Sherru is muted again. Yeah.
Thank you, Ming Kang, for introducing the table topic session for me. Now, as a table topic master, my job is to facilitate this session. So tonight we are doing something different. We are talking about the table topic titles will be centered around Gen Z or Gen Alpha slangs, such as skibidi, good, and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a person, and I'm going to they're going to choose a number from 1 to 14. And when they do, I will explain generally what the term is all about. And they have to create a table topics around that topic. All right. So without further ado, I'd like to pick our first volunteer or victim, Samuel.
Yes, present.
So Samuel, you have 1 to 14 to, you have options 1 to 14 to pick.
Which one's the easiest? Give me 12 lah.
12 ah, okay, 12. Actually, yeah, but the topic that you pick is the easiest lah. So 12 is sus. Sus is a short form for suspicious. So it's basically to describe anything that is suspicious, like the sale is too sus, or Samuel is being sus with his lateness to the meeting, and so forth and so on. All right. So Samuel, are you ready?
Oh, okay, just talk about SARS, right?
Yeah. So Samuel, sus, Samuel.
Okay. There was a man who came to the police station one day, and he told the police, "Help! My wife has been kidnapped." And one day, the police felt very sus story, but the police did not investigate because he think he's making up, because maybe it's his wife. Like maybe some married people, after a period of time, they create stories about their opposite partners. Anyway, but as the man seemed very determined to find out like about his missing wife, there was a secret agent that suddenly appeared out and offered to help to find his missing wife. And after a few, and after that incident, after that, the man felt revitalized that there's hope to find his missing wife. And after a series of investigations, the secret agent asked it when did he last told him to be honest about how did he first met his wife. And after he met his wife, after that, he couldn't be honest about it. So the secret agent sussed again that he was lying. What if he was actually the killer? And eventually, the secret agent sniffed out the truth and found out that he was the killer. And so, in the end, moral of the story, policemen need to be more responsible and take the complaints of people seriously. With that, thank you for my message. Back to you, table topic master Ikhtifar.
Thank you, Samuel, for being sus. All right, sorry. Just now, right, I forgot to explain the timing for table topics. The timing for table topics is actually 1 minute is going to be green, 1.5 minutes yellow, 2 minutes is red, and 2.5 minutes, the timer will show a blinking signal or we will stop you. All right. So next, do you have any volunteers before I pick my volunteer? All right.
Maybe I would like to try Ikhtifar.
Oh, I can try. Okay, you have options 1 to 14. Taken.
I will pick number 4.
Number 4. All right. So, Elva, your word is, or your term is rationed.
Ration.
RIO-D. Okay, rationed. So, what does it mean?
RIO.
RATIO-D.
Dash Li.
D for donkey.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
So what does it mean is, it means that you receive more hate comments than like comments in your Instagram post or in your Twitter post.
Like comments in my
Okay,
Instagram.
example is Ming Kang got rationed during his recent Instagram post.
Oh, got ration.
So Elva, when you're ready, you have the floor. Elva, ration.
Ration. In fact, all the terms that believe in your table topic sessions are something that is out of my comfort zone because I am not really at the Gen Z or even Gen Alpha. So for me to understand the term, even as simple as sus or a ratio, is kind of difficult for me. However, talking about your example that shared it with me on the ratio in Instagram, in fact, based on my followers, I trust that I have a good profile, which most time I may not be having that much of ratio of all the posting that I shared in the Instagram or even in my Facebook. I guess to be someone that fall under a racial category, perhaps I would think that this person would be someone that is super vocal, and whenever they speak something, it may not be popularized, or even the statement they use is not able to revitalize for their followers or even the target audience. So for me, if let's say you would like to avoid to have racial in your social media profile, I would suggest you to be more approachable, be more friendly, and use more revitalized wording. So say like being positive, some wording that is being like, so that you will not invite racial in your social media profile. That's my comment. And back to you, Ikhtifar. Thank you.
Thank you, Elva. I believe that we are the same age, so I'm also not the Gen era. Yeah. So the next speaker, do I have any volunteers before I volunteer you guys? Somehow today, Joshua is looking charming. Joshua, you want to try?
Sure, can.
Alright, so you have 1 to 14, 4 and 12 is being taken.
I think I'll take 10 then.
10. Oh, okay. So your word is moots. M-O-T-S. Moots is basically the short form for mutuals. So let's say, for example, it's another term for 6 degrees of separation. For example of a sentence will be, I didn't know that Zhi Jun is actually a moots with our friend Ming Kang. Right?
So moots means
Mutual.
not close.
Close. Mutual.
Or close.
Mutual. Right? So Joshua, moots, Joshua.
편의점도 잘 것 같더라고요. 시간까지 올라올 것 같아요.
Thank you to our table topics masters, Ikhtifar. Moots. Well, it's kind of hard to moots with someone, especially when they are a stranger. This is quite true when I first met a person by the name CG. I met CG in UM back when I was staying in one of their hostels. At first, I see this guy has the know-it-alls, the pain in my butt kind of person. But then one day, he came into my room because of a rat that ran around in his room, and he was afraid of it. And he sat down with me. So I looked at him, he looked at me. Guess who started the conversation? CG or me? Any guesses?
CG.
That's right. CG started the conversation. The first thing that he talked about was, hey, what's your name? And after that, we started talking about movies. Little do I know that both of us actually have the same interests. Like we would actually know, oh, this is what's interesting about that movie. This character is what gives the movie life. And from there, not only do we talk about movies, we even talk about the normal daily life things that we experience, like taking the bus, or what's good to eat, or what you think about this current issue. And then the next year, we even stayed under the same rental room. It was such a, well, I wouldn't say it's a coincidence, more like fate probably. And it's through staying that rental house that both of us, our bond gets more closer as we start to understand what makes us tick, what makes us thin. And until this day, I remember him because we finally forged roots between ourselves, revitalizing my friendship throughout these 23 years. Back to you, Eva.
Thank you, Joshua. Timer, do you still have for one more?
Can.
Can. All right. So the last one or the last two will go for Bernard. Are you there?
Can I say no?
No, you can't.
Can I try?
Who's that? Okay, let's Bernard try. Then after that is who?
I'm
Sherru.
Sherru.
Yeah.
Okay, can. Okay, so Bernard will go first. So you
Okay.
got two practice. Number 4, 10, and 12 is taken.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
7.
choose the rest. 7.
Ah.
Okay, so your word is yeet. Y-E-E-T. So the meaning of the term is to throw something violently into the dustbin or trash. All right. Okay. So Bernard,
Okay.
yeet. Bernard.
All right. One day, I was spending my day enjoying the park as I come across a beautiful lake where you can see a lot of ducks coming towards us. And there, the ducks are happily looking for food. But then, as the ducks approach, it started from 1, and then 2, and slowly, and not, they became a big group that came in an army of ducks, chasing after you, chasing after me. And then along with that, everyone ran. Not just me alone. Whoever that comes near and they come across the ducks, they ran and they ran. And eventually, everyone decided, you know what? There's no way we can outrun these ducks because they started to fly towards us as well. What's the next best thing we can do? Probably the best thing is to just wait in a corner and wait for them to come towards us and ultimately just yeet them away straight into the bin, because that's the only way we're going to get out of this predicament, and they are smaller than us. All right, back to you.
Thanks, Bernard, for a try. So our last speaker, Sherru. Sherru, you have options 1 to 14. 4, 7, 10, and 12 has been taken.
6.
6. All right. So 6 is heather. Heather. It means that if let's say someone said that you are a hater, means that no one can help but to like you. All right. So basically, you are the most likable person in the room lah. So being a hater. All right. So Sherru, hater.
Hater. Sorry, hater. Like most likable person.
H-E-A-T-E-R. the name of person, Heather.
So I'm talking about a person called Heather, who is
No, no,
most
talking
likable.
about the term is is Heather. Heather means that no one can help. I mean, they cannot help themselves. They will have to like you. All right.
So even though I'm in Gen Z, I guess, I'm not sure, but I don't really understand the Heather word. So I'll talk about someone whom I think everyone can't help but to like her. She is my friend Trishna, who is a diseased terminal brain cancer patient. I guess she is the most likable person in the world because, firstly, she is very kind, even though she is having a terminal brain cancer treatment and has a very poor prognosis, which means the likelihood for her to be able to survive through the cancer is quite low, but she is still very positive minded. And even at such a moment, she still try to take care of other people's feelings from the very beginning till the end. She told her parents and her family that she is always very happy. Right a few days before she passed away in her dream. The next very reason is that she is such a strong-willed person. Till the very end, she still doesn't really want to give up on her treatment. It's because her chemotherapy has taken a toll on her to the point that she can't bear with the treatment. At that moment, she has no choice but to accept her fate. The third reason for her to be the most likable person is that she will always be there for her family and friends. During her funeral, all her friends share their experience share the times being spent with her. It's very heartwarming as she is always there to support them. All in all, Trishna is my deceased friend, but I always feel that she is always there together with me to go through all the ups and downs. And I'm pretty sure she is the most likable person in the world. And she is the hater, I guess. Thank you. Back to you, Ikhtifar.
Thank you, Sherru, for sharing your story. Now, thank you all volunteers for showing summaries. And thankfully, the session wasn't skibidi. And let's vote for the goats for the session.
Let's vote, guys. Let's vote. Let's vote. Okay, I think you can have access to the link. I think if you don't have access, then let me know.
I don't see the phone. Maybe you haven't launched it.
Oops. Yep. One moment. How about now? Try again.
Okay,
All right. Okay. Let's vote.
I can see the result. Maybe you want to hide it.
Oh. Wait, sorry. First time using this beginner.
There's an I button. You can click to hide the result.
Okay. Done already. Can again? Can?
Okay.
Good. Can you see the result? All right. Sorry, rookie. Some Gen Z words. Not Gen Z, but yeah, rookie.
Never mind. That wasn't NPC.
Why is NPC?
Not important. It's
Playable character, right?
Yes.
Because people who follow games will know that.
They're really lazy in spelling everything.
Not really lah. They gave new terms for old words lah. Hey, wait. Let's Sherru take over the floor.
Okay, I think we have the result. And for those who haven't voted, can still vote. Or else I'll close it.
I didn't see the vote.
In the Slido, you mean?
See the vote.
In the chat box.
Oh, Slido.
Yeah,
I
in the
see.
Slido. So you mean I wait for you?
I see. Sorry about that. Okay, done.
So now let's have our prepared speech session. Our first speaker will be Elven. He is attempting level 1 speech, evaluation and feedback second speech. Let us invite his evaluator to explain the project statement. Zhi Jun, can you explain the project statement?
So, his evaluator will be Joshua. Joshua, would you like to explain?
Sure, I can explain. So to Toastmasters Elven, the purpose of your project is for you to practice applying the feedback and serve. I think first one is. Oh, I think maybe I can hold on, yeah. Okay, so the purpose of your speech is for you to demonstrate your ability to apply the feedback that was in the first speech and then present it in this second speech. Yep, that's back to you. Back to you, Sherru.
Now, Elven, are you ready for your speech? Are you ready for your spotlight?
Spotlight, yes. All right, yes. All right, yeah, I'm ready.
Yes. Elven, listen, Elven. Over to
Good
you.
evening, everyone. All right, thank you, Sherru. Thank you, Toastmaster here. Good evening, everyone. Resentment is chosen because I felt like in my 20s or in the past few years, perhaps when I was growing up, I can see that wars are coming back. Ever since World War II, we still have wars. For example, we have the Israel war with the Middle East. We have multiple wars. And when I trace back the reason, I thought of an actual reason, which is called resentment. Imagine resentment as a sneaky thief, silently slipping into our life and stealing our peace and joy. But there is also a partner of resentment in this crime, which is also called envy. Envy is a spark that lights up the fire of resentment, creating a chain reaction that deeply attracts our happiness and our relationships. Like carrying a heavy bag that doesn't just weigh us out, gradually weighs away our joy and peace, one small grudge at a time. In fact, in the history of Jewish and Christianism, Moses has 10 commandments, and envy is one of them. Envy is the only commandment that shouldn't be made, and envy is the only sin that wouldn't make you happy. Let's break this down. Envy is that nagging feeling we get when we wish we had someone else has, whether it's their success, whether it's their fame, whether it's their wealth, whether it's their belongings or their status. It's like that green-eyed monster whispering, "Why do they get there and not me?" When you let envy simmer and grow, it transforms into resentment, and resentment is a deeper, long-lasting anger and bitterness that build us up when we feel wrong or denied what we think what we deserve. I'll provide you two examples. First, the first example was actually researched through my trip to India. Take the partition of India in 1947. The envy between two of the largest religions, Hindu and Muslims, not saying which one is doing wrong, but because of the clashing of their own principles, stirred up by colonial rulers, British wasn't just about wanting the other group had. This was about feeling wrong by past injustices and perceived unfairness. This envy grew into resentment, leading to the split into India into three countries, which are called India, Pakistan, and Kashmir. Mixed with resentment can lead to endless disputes. The envy over political and territorial gains set off a cycle of resentment that still affects the region today. Now, think about the Cold War. The United States and the Great Soviet Union were in the bitter standoff, each envying the other's power and influence. US was so afraid that Soviet Union was able to catch up, and the US envied the Soviet Union military strength and reach, while the Soviet Union envied the US economic success and global dominance. This envy wasn't just a passing feeling, it became deep-rooted resentment that shaped decades of tension and conflict. The ongoing mistrust and competition weren't just about different ideologies, they were driven by envy that led to a long and costly global struggle. So how do we break this cycle into our life? Firstly, we have to face our envy directly. It's not a shame that when we accept that we are envy of someone else, understand how it fills us resentment and affect our relationships. We have to recognize envy often comes from our own unmet desires and insecurities. Next, we have to communicate well with ourselves, openly and honestly. Turn the potential conflicts into conversations where you address not just the resentment, but also the envy behind it. Finally, we have to embrace and forgive ourselves for personal growth. We can't dwell in envy for a long time. We have to move on. Forgiveness helps to break the cycle of envy and resentment, freeing us to move forward with a clear mind and a lighter heart. Envy and resentment don't just hurt others, they erode their relationships, they cloud our judgment, dispute our peace, and stop us from truly enjoying life. But that's the twist. By facing and transforming envy and resentment, we can turn these challenges into chances for our personal growth and deeper connections with our friends and family. Well, the speech that I've given, I was actually hoped to embark a journey of change, especially seeing so many wars have arisen. Let's challenge ourselves to recognize and tackle both envy and resentment, turning them into the source of strength and understanding, making a world with a peaceful and joy, making a better world with peaceful and joy. By doing this, we reclaim our own happiness and build a more compassionate and connected world. Thank you. Go back to you, Toastmaster of the evening, Sherru.
Thank you, Elven, for such a wonderful speech. Next, we will have Yong-sung as our second speaker. He's attempting Level 3 project in Presentation Mastery Pathway, Know Your Sense of Humor. Allow me to invite his evaluator, Yumi, to read his project statement. Yumi, over to you.
Thank you so much. Okay, the purpose of this project is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor. Back to you, Toastmaster Evening.
Thank you, Yumi. Now, Yong-sung, are you ready to be in the spotlight to deliver your sense of humor?
Yes.
Yong-sung, the Malaysian hopes and dreams. The Malaysian's hopes and dreams. Yong-sung, over to you.
Okay. I'll be sharing screen for my speech. Is my screen visible to everyone right now? Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Start now.
Let's start. Okay. The Malaysian hopes and dreams. So, we show you this Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, and Singapore. What do they have Malaysia doesn't have? What is the thing that...
Gold medals. Gold medals.
Is correct. Other things, in my opinion, is the gold medals that matters. So it has been a dream of Malaysia folks to achieve it for the past 60 years, which is an elusive gold medal in the Olympics. Since 1964, after the divorce between Malaysia and Singapore, there has been competitive and sometimes a petty rivalry between Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. But we all share the same dreams, the same hope of one-upping each other in certain aspects, such as our achievement, food, culture, and also our language. In my opinion, I see Malaysia as the middle child of a family. This is because Indonesia being the eldest, Singapore being the youngest.
this is the Olympic gold medal that I wanted to share, but I forgotten. Sorry. This is the situation right now in Southeast Asia. Okay, let's get back to the middle child part. So as you can see this picture here, Malaysia is the middle child, the older child is Indonesia, and the younger child is Singapore. Let's just imagine the parents as the international stage, where they always recognize Singapore, while Indonesia is always like being blamed, while Malaysia is always being forgotten. Whenever it comes to Southeast Asia, Singapore, everyone will think of Singapore and Indonesia before they think about Malaysia. That's why it's like a growing frustration, Malaysia seeing that they are unable to replicate their success of their neighbors. Some of you may relate to Malaysia having the same feeling of dissatisfaction, seeing your siblings being more successful than you and the jealousy that comes with it. For example, we just witnessed the end of Paris Olympic, and Malaysia's dreams of chasing another gold medal came to a very disappointing end after a semi-final loss in the badminton games. At least, this disappointment will lead to a surge of filling up badminton courts all over Malaysia, and every single Malaysian claiming that they are always better than Li Zijia and why they should be in the Olympics instead of Li Zijia. While there are disappointment in the sporting ends, but I believe that Malaysia holds great pride in their local food and cuisine. In the culinary world, Malaysia holds the edge compared to Singapore and Indonesia. Malaysia is very lucky because there's a mixture of Chinese, Malay, and Indian cuisine. So I believe that food is one of the reasons why Malaysia is able to live together and unite. For example, I say that when I like Indians, it's because of I wake up every morning to have toaseh with chutney for my breakfast. And I love Malays because I wake up, go to lunch and have nasi lemak ayam goreng. And I love Chinese because I get to go to Bak Kut Teh for dinner, and it is very common to find Chinese food, Indian food, Malay food all throughout Malaysia, from KL, Penang to JB. Also, these are the pictures that I like to include in this slide to show that how delicious Malaysian food are. Next, Malaysia also has a claim to pride that durian is the king of fruit, but unfortunately, I have to say that please don't beat me up because I'm not a big fan of durian. As a Malaysian, I'm quite disappointed in myself. After growing up in Malaysia for 22 years, I can say I'm officially fluent in Malay, Chinese, and Bahasa Rojak. And also, recently, there's also this language called Gen Z Alpha Skibidi Toilet, or Brain Rot, or Yeet, everyone ratio. So let me just tell you about what this Roja, this Gen Z thing is like. It's just like a mixture of fruit salad with a dark color sauce and peanut. Sounds delicious, right? Until we Malaysian make it part of our language. And then I'll give an example of this Bahasa Rojak. You tak nak pergi makan dekat mamak tonight tak? Or I craving for roti canai with teh tarik. Or yesterday I went to shopping dekat Wan Utama and the sales ada banyak gila, no cap. Walao memang worth it lah. With this, I baru tahu that Malaysia is truly Malaysia and it's unique and it's amazing. I hope that Malaysian can actually embrace this culture and not always complain. And I'd like to share you with a news that recently there's a viral case of University Malaya. I see that recently there's a congratulatory post being mocked for having the spelling of science exercise as EKSESAIS. Then it comes with an influx of mocking, like congratulations and then education, and then they all say that our Malaysian top university don't even have the standard. But I feel like as long as we produce the result in research, Malaysia will always be number one. So it makes no difference. So I have a question. Is it considered low standards for the name of science exercise instead of being named like Science Senaman, which is more accurate in PM? Okay, last but not least, I also have dreams of seeing my country wins a gold medal at the Olympics, being proud of our food and culture. I hope also that Malaysia will be receiving more international attention for the right reason, but not only for MS370, but for our culture and identity. I want you guys to embrace the unique identity, culture, and language that Malaysia truly is special. And let's share our dream that drive us towards achieving greatness on the global stage. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you. Because for your patriotic speech, we hope that Malaysia will shine one day with its food culture and also perhaps win more medals in Olympic. Now we will have another speech by the last speech by Samuel, who is attempting his level 3 project in persuasive influence pathway, connect with storytelling. May I invite his evaluator, Zhi Jun, to read his project statement. Zhi Jun, over to you.
Okay. Toastmaster Samuel, the purpose of this project is for you to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. All the best. Back to you, Toastmaster Evening.
Now, Samuel, are you ready to be in the spotlight to deliver your speech?
Let's go.
Samuel, Durian, Samuel. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening, Sherru, for introducing. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests who are here. Today, I would like to share my topic on Durian. So I'm sorry, Nicholas, although you don't like Durian, but circles the topic Durian, so bear with me. So storytelling. Last weekend, my girlfriend and I had scheduled to this Durian promotion that was at SS2 because the Durian was really cheap. Unfortunately, when I arrived at the store, the queue was up to 2 hours long. Can you imagine? It was approximately like from the UMTL gate up to the KK1, that kind of distance. So I had a decision to make at that point: to wait under the hot sun for 2 hours for Durian, or to just leave and go back home feeling sad. So how many of you will actually still wait for the Durian because of the really cheap promotion that they were offering? And you can put out your hands. But bear in mind, you have to wait 2 hours long under the hot sun. Okay, thank you. So since that decision, at that point I was actually still driving the car on the steering and looking outside, and there were cars behind me. I had to make the decision at that split second. And it got me thinking, like, what is my purpose of eating the Durian here? And eventually, I thought even further, ladies and gentlemen, what is the purpose? What is life without a purpose? Okay. Now, I thought back to what was my life then without a purpose. When I think back, I was very bad at making decisions because mostly my decisions were made by my parents. For example, then there was this incident when I was young. Our teacher was asking everyone if they would like to buy some photo book. And I can remember I was putting up my hand, teacher, let me ask my parents first. And in that instance, I could see that my teacher's face became as red as a lobster. She was upset because of my delay in making the decision. The teacher had to had to wait for me to make the decision before she can proceed to move the order. And it was then I realized that, yeah, my decision making wasn't that. It was over a small matter, but my decision making skill was not good. Moving on to what is life without purpose. It's when I felt dreams are become unfulfilled. And during high school, I had the chance I was given the opportunity to choose what instrument I had to play as a band member. And this time I put up my hand again, teacher, let me ask my parents again. And I started to my parents. They said, I wanted to play drum deep down, but because they felt like drum couldn't lead a music compared to like saxophone or trumpet. And so I landed up with an instrument other than drums. And that was an unfulfilled dream. And thirdly, of course, living an unpurposeful life led to an outcome where there were times I was resentful. Resentful because perhaps there's the accumulation of all the unfulfilled decisions that I couldn't make on my own and dreams that I had to follow others rather than what I want to do on myself. And for some reasons at that point, I knew I needed to change, not things would become worse. And so I got back and I felt, and number one, I got to know that reading really helps. And so I started to read a lot of books. And from there, I got to know that I felt that I could learn what people had gone through over their whole lifetime condensed into that one book. And also secondly, I reflected more and asked questions like, what is my purpose of doing this? Why am I doing this? And things start to become clearer as the clouds open up. And thirdly, I happened to stumble across this talking in a university, whereby they always ask you to make sure that you know what's the purpose when you talk, or when you provide a prepared speech, you need to know the general purpose or the specific purpose that you are presenting. And in doing so, this somehow motivated me to clarify my purpose in everything that I do. And now fast forward to today. My decision skills is not the best at times, but has improved, at least from what I have been through since my younger days, where it was at least faster. And of course, more importantly, I felt that my decisions now are more purposeful. For example, like now I'll be going to another phase of my life where I'll be working in the hospital soon. And we have to choose the type of hospitals where we'll be attached to. Now, the problem with that is that the problem with having to choose hospital is some people want to choose only hospitals that that is most convenient, and there's nothing wrong with being convenient. For my purpose of training is to become a safe and competent physician or doctor. And in which case, it doesn't really matter which hospital I'm being sent to, because all hospitals will train you to become the best. And also, the training comes from your own responsibility in learning to become better in wherever I'm posted. And so, of course, the third, fast forward today, other than being resentful, I have noticed a less reactive response. I was less reactive and more responsive instead towards things that don't go my way, and I've come to accept things that have become so, things as it is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've grown to become somebody who used to leave the decision making to others, to becoming someone who is more responsible to take up decisions, and also from someone who is easily resentful, things don't go my way, and to someone who can at least understand what the situation is and try to accept things as it is. And it's because of my reflections and these readings and also joining that particular club in the University of Malaya that I may have matured in a way that is better for myself. Now, my question to you, back to my durian story, did I or did I not eat the durian? Of course I did eat the durian, but I ate the durian at another shop. So I don't have to queue for 2 hours because my purpose was to eat durian, not exactly for the promotion. So ladies and gentlemen, are you living a purposeful life now? Are you going to queue for that durian, or you're going to still eat your durian? Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Samuel, for your purposeful speech. I thought that we all live a purposeful life and achieve our own goals like Samuel did and know what we want. Now let's vote for the best speaker. Iman, back to you. Elven, can you set up the poll?
Yep, I've shared the link in the chat box. You guys can kindly vote and follow the link.
Thanks.
All right, we got the result already, and I'll close the poll.
That's the end of the prepare project speech session. It has come to the end of the first half of the session. We will be listening to the evaluation session, where the evaluators share their view, and us and also the speakers gain benefit by listening to the evaluation. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much to the Toastmaster evening. Now, so the evaluation session is basically, as mentioned at the earlier part of the meeting, it's a feedback session. So the best part about Toastmasters is that not only do you learn how to construct and deliver speeches, you also have to learn how to be an observer and listen to your speakers, and from your perspective, what did they do well and what do you believe that they could work on to improve in their future speeches. So, okay, volume is a bit low, so my apologies. Right, so the best part about the Toastmasters program is that you'll also learn how to give a feedback to another speaker. So in a daily life, when you, in your working life or soon to be working life, you sometimes will be asked on how to give, how should one thing be improved, how can it be better. So that's where your feedback skills will become very essential in your working life as well. So without taking too much time, we have 4 evaluations. So let's start off with the table topics evaluation. With that, we have our table topics evaluator, Ming Kang. Ming Kang, over to you.
Thank you, Kui Min. Is everyone can hear me? Sounds good. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will start my evaluation. I'll start my table topics evaluations to our brave souls. So today, they all are not Gen Alpha people, but they were given a chance to be Gen Alpha, maybe for the very first time. They all try to use Gen Alpha words in a speech at least once. All of them use the word in a speech at least once, and they have totally slayed the table topic session. Now, I would like to give one good and one challenge to each of the table topic speakers, starting with the first speaker, Toastmaster Samuel. Toastmaster Samuel was given the word sus, and he used the word by creating a suspicious story. A sus story of someone report to the police who actually killed the wife, trying to put the guilt on someone else. I love the fact that Samuel has a mysterious voice when telling the mysterious story. Rather than just normally say it out, he lower his tone to have a bit bass of everything, just to make the story more mysterious. And that's what I like about his speech, the use of good tone. Now, for improvements, I know this, Samuel, since it's an impromptu speech, you had to come up with your story on time. I noticed you were a little bit less confident. When you talk about the man came to police and report, you say, maybe this, maybe that, maybe. I feel like you're trying to come up with something from the word maybe. So you use the maybe to give you some time to think. I would suggest you, if you have known the story already, you can use the word maybe. That's a rhetorical device. Maybe. But if you use it as a filler, I would suggest just cut it out. Just cut out the later part and proceed with the storytelling, right? So that's a suggestion to Samuel. Our second speaker is our guest, Elva. Elva was given the word very short, right? Which means some post gets more comments than like, something wrong with the post or something weird. And she actually used the word pretty well, even though she admitted that she never heard of. I can see that she's trying to understand from Ikhtifar's, our TTM's explanations, and at least come up with something of her own explanation. And she used the word accurately, I would say. So that's a good point, good attempt for that. My suggestion is in terms of eye contact, because I know that you are the Toastmasters, I will be a little bit more criticized on eye contact, noticing that you're constantly looking up, especially when you're trying to think of how to use the word ratioed. I suggest you be more confident to a virtual camera. Maybe TDDI is meeting physically already, but having always practicing to look at camera is a very good skill for Toastmasters. Thank you, Elva. Our next speaker is the Toastmaster member Joshua, was given the word moods, means mutuals, like mutual friends. Again, Joshua started with a story of rats that caused a friend to jump maybe in the room, I couldn't recall. And in the end, they became friends because they have common interests in movies and other stuff. I like that he actually sounds exciting when he's talking about the movies, right? It's as if he is the same excitement as he was when talking about movies with his friend. So he brings that excitement to his speech, which is very, very good. I connect quite well with that. Now, one suggestion to Joshua is, I know you are a very good speaker, very good storyteller. Perhaps bring back your introductions to your ending. What happened to the rats? I'll give one example. You concluded with, we finally become moods, mutual friends. Try to add one more, just like Samuel's Durian speech. And guess what happened to rats? We cooked them. That's all. Thank you. So that's one example. Next, we have Bernard, our Toastmasters, was given a title Yeet, throw something very hard. One thing I like about Bernard's speech is he is very good at creating suspense in telling story. I noticed he used rhetorical device. I'll give two examples. Suddenly, one duck starting to come after me, and then two ducks. When I flip my head over, all of them came after me. So that creates a good suspense in using rhetorical device. 1, 2, then all of them. Another example is we run and we walk away, then we try to run away. In the end, we almost want to fly away. So that's a very good way also to create suspense, to see how tense it was, the situation. I will have a suggestion to Bernard. Just like Joshua, try to complete the story by bringing back the introductions. In this case, I'm wondering, did you eventually yeet to the duck? Did they catch you? And what happened in the end? That is a very good conclusion to complete the story. Finally, we have Sherru talking about a healer, right? Person which no one hates. And she talked about her good friend who unfortunately passed away due to the treatment, due to the disease, which is a very emotional story, right? I would like to say she is very courageous in sharing the story. Normally, people wouldn't be so courageous because they can't control their emotion. Sherru, in the end, completed the story very well. So that's a plus point. I have a suggestion to Sherru. When you're talking about the conclusions, I noticed you're trying to bring positivity to the people over here. So perhaps change your emotions a bit. Try a different tone, an inspiring tone. Although it's a sad story, we're quite emotional when start, but in conclusions, try to bring the inspiration part. Trisha is my friend, and she is a healer. So I hope we would live our life to our best, just like my friend Trishna. Thank you. That's all for all the table topics evaluations. And I will pass the floor back to GE. What do you, Kui Min? I think I'm over time.
Thank you, Table Topics Evaluator Ming Kang. Whether you're over time or not, we'll see at the timer's report, okay? Okay. Now for the My comments for the table topic session, I think in general, the themes surrounding the table topic section is a bit hard to relate back to the theme of the meeting today. Perhaps that's, to me, I've considered that a missed opportunity in the sense that the use of the design of having a thematic meeting is to have opportunities to explore more on the theme that is set for the meeting. However, when the table topics are going for a different direction, then that reduces the opportunities to explore more on the theme of the meeting today. So perhaps for future meetings, the table topic masters would consider what is the theme of the meeting and then set the table topics accordingly so that the theme would have more significance to the meeting as a whole. Otherwise, the theme would be probably just mentioned at the presiding officer's opening and maybe introduced in the Toastmaster of the Day's introduction and at most at the closing. So there's not much to explore further on the theme of the meeting, right? As for the topics, I believe they can be quite difficult for first timers. So perhaps you might want to, because it's just a one-word topic, it gives so many options for the table topics speaker to explore. So perhaps for first timers who attempt a topic like this, it will be advisable to give a direction where the topic would go. So a direction would mean whether something he or she agrees with. So perhaps that's something the table topic masters can also explore in the future. Yeah. Other than that, I have no other comments regarding the table topic session. I believe it was done well, including the introduction of what the word means, since not many people are familiar with those words. Okay, moving on, we will have the prepared speech evaluation session, starting with for the first speaker, Elven's evaluator, Joshua. So Joshua, over to you.
Thanks, Kui Min. To Toastmasters Elven. Let me recap back on your first feedback and evaluation speech. In your first speech, you talk about how basketball improved your life, and it centers around the core values of passion and honor, which was your first volume. Today, you present us with your second volume, known as Resentment plus Envy. How do you incorporate these core values into it? By presenting us with war. And when you talk about war, this is your attention grabber for your opening, which I think you did well, because war is the current issue. And when you say the word war, suddenly everyone was sensitive about it and they want to hear more of what you have to say. What is your view on this war? And after that, I also noticed is that compared with your first speech, this speech, your speed was a little bit more slower, and it allows me to digest each and every single one of your words, as well as your contents more clearer. You take your time unfolding your facts and philosophies on resentment and its partners, envy, starting off with the events, which I would say is the histories and the wars. What is the reason of how this resentment and envy come to be, and what are their impacts, and what's the lesson learned from it? And one small part that I noticed after you mentioned about envy is the only sin that makes one unhappy, you talk about a green-eyed monster, and you change your tone into a voice that sounds like, why do they get that? And that, I think, is even though it makes the monster sounds cartoonish, but it also implies the evil hiding behind that cartoonish voice. So I think that's a great job to you for changing your tone when it shifts to another character. In terms of improvement, I noticed that there's a lot of facts into your story. Sounds like a history class. And what better way to present history is through visual aids. By presenting a visual aids, perhaps you may effectively communicate with your audience what are these events about. For example, how India was split into India and Pakistan based on religion. What is the Cold War all about? Why America versus the Soviet Union? So by presenting visual aids, I think people will be able to revitalize the history that they've learned before and say, oh, I remember seeing that somewhere. Second thing to improve on is by adding a personal story to something, to your story, to make it maybe even more inspirational, for example, or make it even more relatable. For example, you may tell us a story about how resentment and envy impacted your life before. Give us more impact as to why envy is dangerous, how it calls its partner's resentment to join in the torment of the person, so that we to understand, oh, that is the reason why you want us to stay away from resentment and envy, and how we can break the cycle. Overall, I think you did well in your speech. You managed to shift your tone, good attention grabber. In terms of improvement, perhaps you can add visual aids when presenting an informational speech, and add a personal story when we're talking so much of facts, but we really want to have something that is more on a human level to connect with your audience. After all, your pathway is leadership development. Based on these past two projects, I think you have definitely proved your strength to us, and I think you have also achieved the purpose of your project today. Back to you, Kui.
Thank you to the evaluator, Joshua. Now, I find Joshua had a very interesting way of presenting the evaluation, in the sense that he linked back to his pathway, which was unheard of. Very refreshing take on the evaluation. Now, I would agree with most of the comments, especially the part about adding a personal story. To me, the speech was great, in the sense that it takes a very high level view, like a bird's eye view on the topic. The cons of that approach is that it feels very distant. It feels like, oh, so far away. Like I cannot imagine myself in the picture, because in this context, everyone here is not like a world leader, at least not yet at this point. If anyone is, please feel free to correct me. So it feels the topic is a bit distant to every one of us, because we are talking about wars, world wars, all those developments at the country level. So that is a bit distance for us to be able to connect more closely with you as a speaker. So perhaps you would want to explore a more personal approach, so that you'll be able to connect well with your audience as well. So that's my comment for you. Okay, let's move on. We don't really have a lot of time. I'm trying to catch up. Right, moving on to the next speaker's evaluation session. That will be led by Ming. Ming, over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Nicholas, you have presented a very interesting title, The Malaysians' Hopes and Dreams. So, in a rather humorous fashion, and I find humorous in these 2 points here. The first one is the materials presented throughout your speech, especially on the ones on the slide. You actually have employed memes and some interesting graphics, which includes about food and also cultural differences between us ASEAN countries, and which also includes Window Child Malaysia, a variety of culture, and also, of course, Durian. Actually, I kind of know the clip because I actually watched the channel before. He keeps talking about Thai food the most. I remember this guy. And as for so that actually is good, because you can manage to interact with us better, because we as audience will understand that what you're referring to, especially in relations to how we Malaysians think of other countries and how other ASEAN countries think of us. Okay, the second strength in your speech is you have engaged the audience in your introduction. So you began your speech by showing us the 5 flags, 5 ASEAN flags, and you asked us what do these countries have in common. So, and based on our recent knowledge from Olympics, we can just quickly guess is basically we have no gold medals, which is quite a bummer to be honest. And to improve your speech better, because you're doing the speech in a humorous manner, which is a project speech, know your sense of humor. I noticed your speech is quite homogeneous throughout your speech. I had not sensed any change of pacing and also the volume and also the cadence throughout your speech. That is not, this is, in humorous speech, this vocal variety is very important because it can make or break a humorous speech, either from being funny or not being funny at all. So for instance, when you ask questions like, what do these countries have in common? You can say, get these 5 countries, what do they have in common and what we do not have? Hint, hint, Olympics or something like that. So at least you make us engage better, okay? And the second thing I would like you to improve on, especially on humorous speech, is you have to elaborate the points in a more humorous fashion. How you mean by elaborate it in a humorous fashion? You can employ the trick called twisting. So you twist the so example, you say something about point A, and you say, okay, our Malaysians like to eat durian. Then you say, a spoiler alert, you twist it and say, no, actually, I don't like durian or something like that. You can actually play around and do that, and you can actually listen to the last speech, the ending of Samuel's speech on durian. He did say jokingly that, do you think I managed to get durians in the end? And so he said yes, but actually I'm not queuing up. Actually, I go next door. So this way, you can actually make the audience have a slight feel the humor in your speech, and also the twisting will give us some nice spans throughout your speech. So on all, you actually have provided 2 ME, good materials, and also engaging the audience as strength. And as for the improvement, you have to your speech is rather monotonous, and you need to elaborate speech humorously. So in lieu of this, I would suggest you to try doing humorous speech again. So especially on the speech part, because that will make a difference, truly make a difference. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you to the evaluator Ming on Nicholas's speech. Now, for Nicholas's speech, I find that the materials were very interesting. It captures attention. What I feel is a bit, I believe it's a double-edged sword when you use visual aids like a slide. It portrays how familiar is a speaker or a presenter is with the materials. So if you are any speaker is going to use a visual aid, you must make sure your speech flow well with your whatever that is on the screen for everyone to see. Otherwise, when the speaker or the presenter skip past slides very quickly, then that shows something is not quite right anymore. So perhaps that is something any speaker who uses visual aids would want to consider when you use a visual aid. Because sure, visual aid looks nice, but how well can you complement as a speaker? How well can you integrate that speech into your presentation? And remember, the word is integrate. That means the spotlight should not be on the materials. The spotlight should still be on you as the speaker, as the presenter, right? If your material is going to be the spotlight, then there is not much of a meaning of you being a presenter anymore, right? People could just read the slides, then no one is going to look at you as a presenter anymore. So that is a consideration for speakers who would want to use visual aids moving forward. It is a good tool, but it can also cut you along the way. So you might want to consider maybe that it might not be a suitable use in a speech unless absolutely necessary, like heavily factual speeches. Then perhaps that's where you will want to use it. Alright, so that's my comment for Nicholas's speech. As for Yu Ming's evaluation, I would recommend evaluators because we are evaluators, right? So in Toastmasters, we heavily recommend the use of I statements. I find, I suggest, I recommend, I find, I notice. Of course, there's all our observations, and that's where we are providing our feedbacks. So perhaps moving forward, you would want to consider using more of these I statements as well in your evaluations. All right. Other than that, I believe all of the speakers and the evaluators did very well, very observant and very detailed speeches as well. Right. Now, moving forward to the next and the last evaluation for Samuel's speech that would be done by Zhi Jun. Zhi Jun, over to you.
Toastmaster Kui Min. Toastmaster Samuel, well done for your speech. As the project name is Connect with Storytelling, Toastmaster Samuel, you connect us to your speech with the story of Durian. I like about how you link the Durian to your story and your personal thoughts. In the intro, you talk about the story about you buy the durian with your girlfriend, but it's waiting too long. It's a long queue and it's under the hot sun. So you ask about your girlfriend. Hope I start correctly. And then you link about yourself. You're self-reflecting about you are bad in making decisions. Like you link, and then you linking about your childhood when you buy a book or choose an instrument, and until you want to choose a hospital for your housemanship. And last, you found yourself that how to make your life more purposeful and how to make decisions. And lastly, you do not forget, you did not forget to link back the conclusion back to the Durian, as your speechwriter is Durian. Like us and tell us about the story, because you just talk half about you queuing with your girlfriend to buy the durian, and then you wrap up the story with, do we eat the durian? And then you say yes, but other stall. I like the linkage about how you found your self-reflection with the durian story. Throughout your speech, I found that you have a clear and comfortable voice, which make us as an audience very comfortable to listen to you. And third, I like about how you use your hand gesture to express about your feelings, about your about how to found the how to make a decision. For areas of improvements, I noticed that sometimes you are looking to the left when you are talking. Perhaps you can try to stay on the camera. Perhaps you are thinking about what you want to talk, but you can try to look at your camera when you are talking. If possible, you can find a background, or you can find a place who have a clear background which does not have any stuff, so to make your hand gesture more visible, if possible. In conclusion, I like your linkage about your Durian story. You have a clear voice and good hand gesture, and you can improve on your eye contact and the background. That's all from me, and well done. Well done on speech again, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you to the evaluator Zhi Jun on Samuel's speech. Now, for me, I find Samuel's speech, I have mixed feelings because I find the story was captivating, but I want more. So that's where I find that where the mixed feeling is. I find that it being project being connect with storytelling, I would hope for a bit more content regarding the story of buying the durian. Perhaps you would like to explore more descriptions or more of your thought process during the journey of buying that durian. That's where my recommendations to you would be. I believe that is all for the evaluation session. So in the meantime, maybe the assistant sergeant at arms could launch the poll as we move on with the other sessions, so we can try to minimize our overtime here.
1 minute.
Okay, maybe in the meantime, I'll just continue speaking. Right. So for the evaluation session, I find that all the evaluators are very observant. Of course, they provided feedback that are personal. I believe all the speakers also done quite well given the circumstances, especially the table topic session. I believe the topics are a little bit peculiar, uncommon and totally unheard of. I believe the topics were a bit, like I said, a bit too it's not very particular as a first time. If you are a first timer at this meeting, it won't be the most encouraging topic to get, because unless you are very familiar with the phrase and very comfortable with impromptu speaking, that might not be the best way to do a table topic session. Yeah. I believe the poll has been posted in the chat box, so you feel free to vote. In the meantime, can we have the Grammarian's report presented? For that, let's invite Zhi Jun for her Grammarian's report. Over to you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Here's my grammar report. Word of the day, revitalize. I found the first 3 table topic speakers, Samuel, Elva, and Joshua, used once. And for the good selection of words, phrases, one word is popularized from, I forgot someone from the table topic session. Popularized. It means it caused something to be more famous or cause something to be generally liked. And from our speaker, Elven, resentment, his title. Resentment means a feeling of angry displeasure. And also the sentence, turn the potential conflicts to conversation. And also the phrase, making a better world with peaceful and joy. Toastmaster Yongsheng, and also his preferred name, Toastmaster Nicholas, with his phrases, let's drive our country's achievement to a global stage. And last, Toastmaster Samuel, as the clouds open up, it can be described like this, like the sun, like a Chinese, for our Chinese, we will say like the sun comes after the rain. Everything will be better when after the bad things over. Any grammatical errors? I found one is, I trust I have a good profile. How should be structured is, I believe that I have a good profile. Replace the word trust with belief. That's all from me. And thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you for the Grammarian's report. I find it revitalizing to see that the reports remain being in use after, I believe it was Kian Ting's term where we started using this version of the report. So it's revitalizing to see the report is still being in use and in circulation after so many years. Now, moving on, let's have the R counters report by Ikhtifar. Ikhtifar, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chugi. Now, for my report, okay, I will start by saying that most of us have less than 5 R or ERMs or speed crutches. The most that have speed crutches is me, Ikhtifar, with 1 ERM, 7 Ers, and a repeated word of day, followed by our Mr. GE, 1 R, 2 ERMs, 2 so, and a repeated of 2. Next, it will be Ming with 3 so's and 2 repeated word of actually. And the rest of us were having less than 4 speed crutches in their speeches. Right, back to you, Mr. GE.
Thank you for the very succinct R counters report. Usually R counters is much longer. I'm not sure if it's actually that short or the R counter is summarizing everyone's into a very short report. Right. Thank you again. So now we have the timers report. So over to you, Iman.
Okay, hang on, let me share my screen. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Hang on. Okay, can everybody see my screen? So here's the timers report. For the meeting organization in general, I think we were very time efficient. Everybody was straight to the point and used their time wisely. We only had a slight bit of overtime with the Toastmaster of the evening slot because of some technical issues, but I believe that should easily be solved by the next meeting. For the individual performances, starting off with the table topics sessions, most were in time, which is, I think, pretty impressive considering the difficulty of today's topics. Only Sherru had just a bit of overtime, 17 seconds. For the prepared speeches, Nicholas was overtime just by a mere 3 seconds, so I don't think that should be a problem for his next speech. Samuel overtime by 15 seconds, which is also not too much. And for the evaluators, Ming Kang had an overtime of also just a mere 2 seconds. And Joshua and Meng had overtimes of 24 seconds and 53 seconds, respectively. But I feel like their evaluations this time were very thorough, very elaborate, so I think it's a fair compromise for today. So Zhi Jun's evaluation was in time, and for the Grammarian report as well as the A counter, they were slightly under time, but I guess since there wasn't really that much to elaborate on, it's fine. Okay, so that marks the end of my timers report. Thank you.
Right, thank you to the timer, Iman, for her report. Now, I find Iman is a very nice timer. She said the evaluators going over time is fine because it is very elaborate. Two kind of a timer, if it's under a contest, all of them would have been disqualified. So perhaps all the evaluators would want to be more mindful of what is allocated to them. Unfortunately, according to the agenda, there's not really a slot allocated to me. So I will try to, maybe that's my recommendation. Maybe if you are going to invite a general evaluator, you might want to allocate some time for him or her to present whatever he or she finds throughout the meeting. That's all from me. I will pass the control back to the Toastmaster of the evening for the closing session. Over to you.
Here comes the most exciting. Here comes the most exciting moment of the award ceremony. So who is the best table topic speaker? Can everyone
Elven.
put some drum roll? The
Elven.
best table topic
Ming Kang.
speaker goes to Joshua.
Oh. So Joshua, you want to take a photo?
Can you?
Elven, can you help?
Yeah. I'll try to spotlight Joshua. Joshua, you need to on your camera first. It's just not on. Okay, get 1 minute spotlight. As well as the slide. You want to slide the certificate. Sherru, can you display the certificate? That's now 1 minute. Sherru, do you want to try? Do you want to display the certificate so that I can take a picture with Joshua? Sherru? All right, thank you, Sherru. Okay. Okay. 1 minute. That's all. Sorry for spotlighting you for. I'm waiting for Sherru to. I was. Sherru is not sharing it. Why not? That's why you just post a post. Just get a post and I'll take a picture of you. Sherru, you're not sharing it. You can't share, is it?
I can't really adjust it.
Okay, no worries, no worries. All right. So 3, 2, 1, small. Okay, thank you, just maybe just right. I'll share to you later.
So now, who is our best speaker? Can we have some drum roll?
I think it's Ikhtifar.
Ming Kang.
The best speaker goes to
I didn't see-
Samuel.
Oh, double winner, man. Last week also
Joshua, then
Samuel.
Samuel. Apa? Samuel, then no, Joshua, then Samuel.
No, Samuel was the winner last term. Previous meeting also.
I see.
Power of Durian.
Right, take a picture of
Durian.
Okay, Samuel, are you ready? So you just pose and we got a picture of you. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. That's great. Okay, thank you, Samuel. All right,
Thank you.
Due to some technical issue, we will give our certificate of appreciation to the General Evaluator, Kui Min. Back to you, Elven. Can you help to take a photo?
All right, okay. The spotlight premium on moment. All right. Kevin, are you ready? Three, 2, 1, small. Okay. All right. That's great. Thank you, Kevin.
Now we will proceed with the presiding president closing address before we give the Best Evaluator Award. Zhi Jun, back to you.
Okay. So thank you everyone for coming this 2-hour meeting, and especially for good job for the bravos who challenging the very Jin alpha term table topics. For me, I feel like the table topic, for me personally, I feel like it's very challenging to know that what is this word, and I getting old about listening these words. and I also saw, luckily, that it's glad that I saw very many very brave verse for challenging about the very Jin alpha words. Okay, our next meeting will be on 2nd September, which is also an online meeting with that time we will have our previous exco discharge and also current exco installation. And just to let everyone know that I'm planning to do my level 5 project, moderate a panel discussion on 23rd of September. Hope that everyone can support. Yeah, that's all from me. Any guests would like to give a feedback of our meeting or any other announcement? If no, then I cannot call this meeting adjourned. We still have another award, I think so. And I would like to pass the control to our Toastmaster of Evening, Toastmaster Sherru.
Who shall be the best evaluator? I guess
Nicholas.
you guys know already. So it should be go to Joshua.
Oh,
Double winner.